Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Aquarius. If Aquarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so today, Aquarius, we have the Ace of Discs, which is a most wonderful and happy energy to receive, definitely. All right, and also I just want to mention this is a bonus reading for Aquarius. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look and see what these tea leaves have to say. And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. Also, if you want to hit the like button or leave a comment or both or all, I would super be so thankful. All right, let's take a look. So immediately I'm seeing we have a dog here. Okay, we also have another one here, and it feels like they're really just howling at the moon. There is this real lunar energy. If you can think to the moon card, La Luna, right? It is kind of usually depicted as having some kind of valley, two dogs, maybe a jackal, maybe a wolf, maybe a dog and a jackal. It just depends kind of on how it's creatively rendered, right? So then they're howling at the moon, okay? And this is, you know, kind of associated with this feeling of longing, of devotion, right? The moon, the goddess, the kind of our, well, if we have the mother of earth, right? Or earth mama, usually, you know, she goes by lots of names, but we'll call her Gaia here. There is also that lunar mother, the lunar maiden, the huntress, and a patron of women in general, right? Of our, well, I just keep saying kind of lunar, how should I say? Wealth of emotions, right? And so when this comes up, and of course, this is not really gendered. These are symbolic. This is how kind of these things have been written about, how we've learned about them, and they're applicable in all cases, no matter what identity or, you know, whatever fluidity one might have, right? So when we see this, it's kind of this feeling of, yeah, there is a lot of emotionality going on. If you can think of the moon pulling the tides, pulling it in, pushing it out, and this degree of surrealism, of illusion, of sometimes it can be paranoia, right? These kind of feelings that are very potent in the night when the moon is out, right? So when this all kind of comes together, I look at this and I feel like, yeah, there's kind of this wildness, this kind of almost untethered energy, kind of pulling away that feeling of needing to be prim and proper and abiding kind of our social personas, how we conduct ourselves in the light of day. And so, you know, there's this longing for, and you can think of like Diana, who is the lunar goddess, And she is a goddess of the hunt. She's depicted as a maiden with a dog usually, and a bow and arrow. And you can imagine her running through the night, running through the forest, running through the meadows with her bow on her back, looking, hunting, waiting, following. And there's a freedom in that, in being unseen, in moving stealthily through aspects of your life, right? And so I look at this and I'm thinking, yeah, there's absolutely this feeling of wanting to kind of explore your creativity, explore your spirituality, explore your own desires, your own impulses, your own kind of inclinations towards things. And this is something that I don't think is unfamiliar to an Aquarius. Definitely not. You've never been afraid of a little self-exploration, about getting out there in the world and trying some different things. But I do think that there are times where we don't really think about this stuff that much. We're busy. We have all kinds of things going on, right? Our days are full. We're dealing with people and personalities and energies and things, just a tedium of things. And yeah, sometimes you just kind of go weeks and months and maybe even years, right? Where you're not thinking about, what is pulling you, what inspirations are you having, what would you like to do versus what you need to do. And, and then ever so abruptly, usually the moon comes out, right? And the dogs start howling and our heart is pulled and we think, wow, I really haven't spent very much time for myself going out and, looking into the great unknown, figuring out kind of, what are these stirrings within myself? Maybe this time I don't push them away. Maybe this time I don't forget about them. Maybe this time, I take notice and I indulge a little bit, right? And so this is the general feeling. It feels to me when I think about it like an underlying buzzing. If you've ever lived in a place that had electrical wires, right, that kind of buzzed a little bit, and I'm thinking, right, laying in bed late at night on a maybe summer evening and it's hot and the window's open and you're having trouble kind of falling asleep because it's warm, it's sticky. Maybe you have like a little fan blowing on you, but that's about it, right? You're in a warm room, and when you kind of just let your mind go quiet, all you can hear are, the crickets and the buzzing of those electrical wires. And it's just a hum. It feels like home. It feels familiar. It feels comforting. And yet, it doesn't feel natural, right? It is something that is layered into everything else, and it is just there. You usually don't notice it, but now you do, because it's late at night. You're trying to drift off, and you can't. The heat's got you right by the toe. And this is what this feels like. This is what that energy feels like, kind of that electrical wire just buzzing somewhere in the background of your life, okay? And you have taken notice. And so let's keep going here. We have, it looks like an S-O-O. I don't know what that means. But these ones look like O's. They also, they look like memories, right? So we have more of that kind of real goddess energy. Motherly, nurturing, protective, and watching out for. Now we have two people with a child in the middle, right here, okay? We also have another person kind of hanging on to this person. And immediately, what came to mind is kind of an interference within the family unit. I almost wonder if this is like an in-law, maybe you had a child with somebody, maybe you were married, maybe you weren't. But I feel like maybe their parents, one of their parents or sets of parents, really kind of overstepping. And I feel like this kind of continued boundary stomping really made this relationship difficult. And I wonder if maybe this is somebody who, yeah, you loved them or had a fondness for them. You had a child together, and it feels like it maybe did not work out, right? You maybe even are still with them, but like, you know, I feel like there's just not, it's like there's somebody always there, right? And I wonder if they have maybe a parent that was kind of overbearing, really felt entitled to get involved in all of their affairs. But I feel like because maybe they were raised that way, they always needed somebody involved, like an outside party, like their best friend or their brother, their sister, their, you know, and maybe even they were somebody who is, you know, having an infidelity kind of situation going on. They were cheating, just to put it plainly. And then there's always this energy of somebody around in the background. Okay. So I do feel like it just was not a balanced relationship. And I feel like when that ended, it was difficult, right? For probably if you have a child, it was probably difficult for them. But I feel like we also have this sense of things being okay. Like they worked out how they were supposed to. And I feel this is kind of a looking back on, like this is a, kind of in a way reminiscing maybe about how far you have come ultimately. And with that mother energy right there, I really feel like the universe kind of did you a favor here, making this kind of an intolerable relationship, and it got you out of it. Okay. And that was it was a kindness, because I think ultimately this relationship would have been pretty sour. And I don't know that you would have left, because you are a devoted person. And, and not to say that you're weak and you'll put up with anything, right? But you're devoted. You wanted your family to work out. But this was something that just, it was too much, right? And so I think ultimately, you know, it was a good education, right? And what you will not put up with. And, I think it really set the tone for you to seek out better relationships, or just kind of stay in your own lane, right? Do your own thing. Raise your child raise yourself. Maybe this is your interior child. It doesn't have to be that you actually, have a biological child, or even, chosen family, or, stepchildren, or what have you. It could be that this was you raising yourself. You chose yourself over this romantic entanglement. Okay, so let's see. And I keep feeling like there's a sense of letting go so you can let others in. I don't know, kind of like, I almost feel like this is a situation where, and I'm putting this down because I really want to think about this. It feels like you gave so much of yourself, you always give so much of yourself. You're not somebody that like half steps, right? This is like, if I'm going to say it, if I'm going to be about it, I'm going to do it all the way. Right? 120%. When this ends up being a scenario, a situation, a relationship, a job, some kind of dynamic in your life, that just, they take. And you give and you give and you give, but then you get to a point where it's like you will have to walk away. You're not, and in that movement away, although it can be painful, it can be devastating, right? So devastating. But it's like you're walking into a room that has all of the elements that you need, and you get to kind of rearrange things. You get to create, you get to start over. And although maybe, even as I'm saying this, it's like you sigh. You're like, oh, I don't want to continue to start over. I feel like you're so good at it. You're so good at rebuilding. You're so good at, it's almost like you've had such different parts of your life, different chapters, very distinct. You've been many things. And although, that can feel almost like you haven't put down roots anywhere, I think it's because you have the spirit of somebody who is not supposed to be kind of stuck in one place. Now, I don't necessarily mean like, you're living somewhere for too long. But I just think that it's like you evolve continuously, and you are ever changing. And so when this old is kind of pushed out, it leaves so much room for something new. If you are an artist, or if you've ever created anything, right, and you've put a lot of time into it, and you love it, you care for it, you feel like you've, like it is almost in a way like a child, right? You've put so much effort into this thing, and the more you focus on it and kind of, micromanage the little bits and pieces, the variables of it, it just gets further away from your vision. And at some point, you just decide, I'm done. And not only am I done, I'm taking all of this, and I'm thinking of like a sculpture, a pot, or pottery, or whatever, clay, and you've just over molded it, and you just finally get to this place where you take it and you throw it out, and it's hard because it's something that you've spent so much time with. It's beloved to you. You have put yourself into it. But then there's all this space. You can begin again. And there's something very exciting about that. And you've learned from this other situation. And so as you begin, you know where your missteps were. And hopefully, you really apply that wisdom that you have earned. You've earned it. Now, we also have the number 8. Ooh, this is getting real dry. It's going to fall everywhere. But we do have the number 8. I wanted to mention that because it seems like a important number today. Okay, so we're going on a little bit of a journey, it looks like. I can see it reminds me of a little bit of a migration. We have the birds flying and swimming and moving about. So I feel like maybe you're going somewhere. Maybe for the weekend, maybe you're just like going across town. You're going to do something you don't usually do. But this feels like at least a day. It might be a period of time where you feel very connected with your surroundings. You are noticing the sign symbols and synchronicities. This feels like a very sacred journey indeed. And so with the birds, I know it's just going to be like an onslaught of kind of spiritual downloads. So make sure you are paying attention. It will seem like everything means so much. It's like one thing after another. And all you can really do is kind of laugh and take note because, yeah, the universe is really chatty, very chatty right now. And, I think that this will be something that ultimately helps you get into your passion. We have up here kind of a fire. We have a fire going up here. So I'm looking, we have kind of a person standing here. We have the number 14, but then we also have the birds, and then we get to the fire. And to me, it absolutely is this feeling of taking this connection, these, things, repeating numbers, words, like certain impressions and feelings and sensations that are kind of really coming up for you. Maybe you haven't felt them in a long time, but it's all coming together and it's getting you into this very inspired place, which in turn, I feel really it feeds into that Ace of Cups energy. There is really this impulse to be creating in the physical realm. Okay, so, if you are an artist, making that sculpture, starting again, or, whatever it is, or it could be put into business and making money, getting the house in order, remodeling, whatever it is. It's something that you are experiencing in your waking life, okay? All right, so we're going to take a look at these. These are our self-care affirmation cards. And I'm going to just stop where it feels right. And it says, intuitive awakening. I trust my intuition, meditation, and solitude. Help me connect to my instinctive center. As I focus inward, I can feel my intuition awaken. I pay attention to the wisdom of my spirit. I pay attention to the wisdom of my spirit. All right. Okay, Aquarius, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you because I do, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I'd love to hear from you, especially if you're new to the channel. Definitely shout it out in the comments. And other than that, I just want to say, again, I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk in just a few days from now. Good night.